I'd like to call the February 8th meeting of the Board of Education to order. Let's start with the invocation. Let's have a moment of silence, and please keep in mind all those who are much less fortunate than us. Thank you. Would you all please rise now for the Pledge of Allegiance? Next, we'll have our school spotlight, and this month it's on Central Elementary School.
Good evening, Dr. Dobney, Ms. Scholler, and members of the board. It's my pleasure to be here tonight and have some of our kindergarten and first grade students present to you. A couple of years ago, Ms. Kinsel came to me with an article about a school in Raleigh who used a leadership model based on Stephen Covey's 7 Habits, and we have since adopted that. Our teachers have been through training. Our kids are exposed to the 7 Habits throughout the school day in various ways. And we're going to begin tonight with Andrew Goins, one of our 5th grade students, starting their presentation.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Goins, and I'm a 5th grader at Central Elementary. This is my 2nd year with the 7 Habits and Leadership Program. I would like to tell you about each of the 7 habits. Habit 1. Be proactive. Students have a can-do attitude. I choose my actions, attitudes, and moods. I don't blame others. I do the right thing without being asked, even when no one is looking. Habit 2. Begin with the end in mind. I plan ahead and set goals. I do things that have meaning and make a difference. I'm an important part of my classroom. I look for ways to be a good citizen. Habit 3. Put first things first. I spend time on things that are most important. I set priorities, make a schedule, and follow my plan. Habit 4. Think win-win. I want everyone to be a success. I don't have to put others down to get what I want. It makes me happy to see other people happy. When a conflict arrives, I help brainstorm a solution. We all can win. Habit 5. Seek first to understand and be understood. I listen to other people's ideas and feelings. I try to see things from their viewpoint. Habit 6. Synergize. I value other people's strengths and learn from them. I get along with others. I know that 2 heads are better than 1. Habit 7. Sharpen the saw. I take care of my body by eating right, exercising, and getting sleep. I spend time with my family and friends. I would like to introduce students from Ms. Schubert's and Ms. Stadler's kindergarten classes and Ms. Newburn's K-1 combination. They have a song about the 7 habits, then they will tell you how they've been leaders.
am a very good leader because I do my habits and I help my friends. I am a leader because I help my class synergize. It is fun to synergize. I am a leader because I am a can-do kid. I always do my best when I'm walking down the hall. I am always quiet. I am a good leader in my class. My name is Mackenzie. I will seek to understand and learn to be understood. I am a leader. I can be an eagle because when I get home, I always help with the laundry. When I'm done, I ask my mom if I can do the dishes. It is important to be a eagle. My name is Lucy. I am a leader because I do my homework before I play. I listen to my teacher. I do my best before I give up. When my teacher tells me someone needs help on their AI test, I will help them. My name's Leah, and I'm an eagle leader. I am a good leader. I make good choices because I follow the rules.
As you can see, the leadership model has carried over not just at school but also at home. You heard some of them talking about the things they did at home, and I'm happy to say not only has it had an impact on the kids but the teachers as well. These ladies have really stepped up to the plate, and I have seen a positive impact across the building with all of our teachers. And I would like to thank all of them for coming out, parents for coming out and helping, and Ms. Camden for organizing this. Ms. Camden is one of our Title I teachers. Thank you.
Thank you. We could all benefit from those 7 habits. Ms. Belangi, could you come back up to the microphone, please? And hold it down, call each one of the 7 habits back up there.
Okay.
And have them give their first and last name.
Okay. All right. Come on, guys. Who was my first habit? Stedman? Come right up here to this way. Tell them your first and last. Right here, Stedman. We're going to use the microphone this time. You get to talk in the mic so I can hear you. Tell them your name.
My name is Stedman Reynolds.
Tell them what your habit was.
My habit was habit first. The beginning with the end in mind. To be proactive.
Who was number 2? Come on, Katrina.
My habit was number 2. To have a plan.
Okay. Can you tell them your name?
Your first and
Katrina Swain.
thank you.
Who's next? Tell them your name.
Haley Dozier.
What was your habit?
Number 3.
Number 3, which was what?
Put first things first.
First things first.
My name is Mackenzie Logan Hunley.
Tell them what your habit was. Do you remember? Which habit did you have, Miss Kennedy? Seek first.
Seek first to understand and then be understood.
Correct. Good job. All right. Who was next?
My name's Leah, and my habit was number 4, think win-win. My name is Marina Stalk, and my habit was Number 6, synergize.
And it's pretty incredible to walk in the kindergarten classroom and hear kids talking about synergize.
Yeah, really.
My name is Lucy Chappell, and my habit was habit number 7, and it was
The one we like.
sharpen the saw.
And could you bring Mr. Goins back up once again to reintroduce himself?
Mr.
Who is the...
My name is Andrew Goins.
Okay. Andrew, kindergarten students, thank you very much. You did an excellent job. And if the parents would like to take the students now, that would be fine. Or if you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting, that would be fine too. Okay, next we'll have our public comment session, and we would request that people limit their remarks to 3 minutes. First, we have Kiba Baldwin.
Good evening, Dr. Darling, board members, Ms. Scholler. I stand before you this evening to bring recognition to 2 proclamations for 2 great service groups serving our students here in Currituck County. The first is Counselors Week. This week, actually, February 6th through the 10th, Dr. June Atkinson signed a proclamation stating that this week is recognized as North Carolina School Counselors Week. So just a little bit about what this week means to our school counselors, where these are highly supportive school counseling professions, and fully understands that school counselors are leaders and advocates assuring that all students in North Carolina graduate career and college ready. This goes from elementary all the way up to high school. And so on behalf of Dr. June Atkinson and DPI as well as Currituck County Schools, we want to acknowledge this week as School Counselors Week. Okay? The second is another proclamation signed by Dr. June Atkinson and the governor, Beverly Perdue, to recognize our school bus drivers. This is the Love the Bus campaign, which begins next week, February 13th through the 17th. And so within this proclamation given by the governor, I would like to read some of the highlights of the North Carolina transportation system. Whereas every school day in North Carolina, more than 13,000 school bus drivers carry 790,000 students to and from school. And whereas without school buses and school bus drivers, many public school students would not have safe, reliable transportation to and from school. And whereas the use of school buses saves over 65 million gallons of fuel statewide each year compared to what would be required by individual family cars. And whereas school bus drivers travel thousands of miles navigating dirt roads, bypasses, multi-lane highways to deliver students to their schools and homes safely. And whereas weather and road conditions, other motorists, and student passengers can sometimes create special challenges to drivers as they carry out their duties. And whereas the breadth and scope of that responsibility is great compared to the compensation that often is provided. And whereas North Carolinians believe it is important to salute and appreciate school bus drivers and recognize their invaluable contributions they make to education and student safety. And whereas the state of North Carolina is proud to join the American School Bus Council in recognizing the week of Valentine's Day as Love the Bus Week. Now, therefore, I, Beverly Eves Perdue, the governor of the state of North Carolina, do hereby proclaim February 13th through the 17th, 2012 as School Bus Driver Appreciation Week in North Carolina, and urge all citizens to recognize the excellence of our state school bus drivers and their record of safety. So those are the two proclamations for two great services, individual service groups that support our kids day in and day out. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Peggy Jordan, a bus driver.
The end of the month at the 28th.
Dr. Dobney, Mr. Simmons, members of the school board, Superintendent Schuler. Good evening. My name is Peggy Jordan, and I have been driving a bus for Currituck County for 7 years. During this time, I have observed the trust, the confidence of our leadership, and the morale of our bus drivers deteriorate. As concerning conscientious drivers, we feel it is necessary to stand as a united body to address and reconcile the many issues we encounter daily. This being said, I would like to announce the reestablishment of the Currituck County Bus Drivers Association. I am Peggy Jordan, the president. I would like to introduce Mr. Roger Guerin, who is our vice president. Ms. Muriel Lee is our secretary, and Ms. Louise Cooper is our treasurer. We are a part of the North Carolina Public Schools Bus Drivers Association, and we have their full support and guidance as we go forward, trying to, 1, make known to all our concerns through better communications. 2, repair the morale of our bus drivers and monitors. 3, work with administration collectively, come to agreements that will begin mending the large gap that has formed. We will no longer agree to disagree. We need acceptable resolutions that are beneficial to everyone. We have many issues, but we will address them through the proper channels. But if we cannot agree on resolutions, we will again come before the school board and ask for intervention and assistance. I would like to thank the board members for allowing me to be heard. We will work diligently to reach our goals. Thank you.
Thank you. Have you mentioned issues, concerns, and working with the administration? Have you spoke with Ms. Scholler yet about
No,
any
we
of
haven't.
those?
She did leave a message when she heard that I was going to come and speak before the board and asked if there was anything she could do. I didn't want to bombard her. I'm going to go to Mr. Keeper Baldwin first, and then I'll take it to her. Because we've had meetings canceled, and I'm sure because everybody's schedules, but we're important. He said it himself, we are important, and we feel as if we are. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Roger Guerin.
Good evening. The association has many concerns. These are the 3 we have chosen to present tonight. Our first concern, safety is our main concern. Drivers have asked many times to have a sign saying, school bus stop ahead on Tulls Creek Road installed. And as of now, nothing has happened. Do we wait for a student to get hurt or worse? Our second concern, as you can see by the handout, there is a large difference between Dare County and Currituck County bus drivers' pay. Why, we ask ourselves, are they better drivers than us? We don't think so. In the September bus meeting, we asked for our money back. School board officials said they would look into it. We are asking, to start with, that the $10 a day supplement be reinstated, retroactive to the beginning of the school year. Who else besides bus drivers were forced to take a 22% cut in pay? It wasn't only our supplement that was cut, but most of us had our routes shortened. Less hours equal less money. We've had no pay raise in 4.5 years, dental insurance taken away, and the list goes on. Number 3, we asked at the September bus drivers meeting why we aren't paid our route description instead of timekeeper. Let me explain route description. Say it will take 4 hours a day to drive our routes, AM and PM, and normally it does. But in the afternoon, all students do not ride at all times, after-school activities, etc. That means we do not have to go down all of our roads, and we can come back up to a half hour early. Why are we shorted because they don't ride? We keep asking, and all management says is we're looking into it. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll definitely address your concerns.
I've got one question. Where on Tulse Creek Road did y'all try to get a sign?
I think it's Stonehenge.
Stone Street. Stone Creek and Stone Street.
Stone.
It's on a curve and there's a child that gets picked up there, and the child has to walk across the road to get picked up, and it's on a curve, and the child almost got hit.
Would that go through DOT?
I'm pretty sure it would, but
That's something we can make a phone call tomorrow and put some pressure at that right tomorrow.
Please.
If they'll do it.
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.
They necessarily might not necessarily do it.
Okay, next item, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion that we approve the agenda for tonight?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Do we approve the agenda? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, overnight field trip request. Ms. Scholler, would you like to go over those, please?
Okay. The majority of these are competitions. The first one's a district band clinic in Greenville, North Carolina. That one's already occurred, and you were polled for and approved that one. Swim team to the state competition in Cary. Actually, that one is occurring as we speak, and we dropped the ball on that. We should have polled you for that one, and I apologize for that. Indoor state track meet in Chapel Hill, the 10th and 11th. Robotics competition in Greensboro, the 24th and 25th. Currituck County High School AP trip to Chapel Hill and the Virginia Museum of Art. That's February 24th through the 26th. DECA State Conference, Greensboro, North Carolina, is the 29th through March the 3rd. JP Knapp Travel Club trip to New York is the March the 9th through the 12th. The band trip to the North Carolina Symphony, Raleigh and Chapel Hill, is March 16th through the 18th. And the Currituck County High School AP trip to Washington, D.C. is May the 21st through the 23rd.
Okay, you've heard the list of overnight field trip requests. Do I have a motion that we approve?
So moved.
Have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion of any of these field trips? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, all the field trips are approved. Next, student school board member report. Chelsea?
At the high school on National Signing Day, we had 4 of our seniors to sign to participate in athletics at the collegiate level. Marquise Grizzle signed with Division I Murray State for football. Kelsey Temple signed for track with Belmont Abbey. Corinne Essa signed for softball with St. Andrews. And Catherine Schwallen signed for soccer at Randolph-Macon. February 23rd is our Hostess Blood Drive. Spring into the Arts, sponsored by the Art Department, will be March 3rd. It's also a very busy time for sports as we're wrapping up winter sports and transitioning into spring sports. Some of our highlights are the wrestling state duels are the 9th and 10th of February. Track will be at Chapel Hill the 10th and 11th of February. The cheerleaders will be in Raleigh to compete on the 11th and then will compete the 17th in the conference competition at Elizabeth City State University. And spring sport informational meetings, conditioning, and tryouts are already underway. This includes all of our spring sports teams, and they are posted on the announcements as well as on our school website. And JP Knapp Early College is currently recruiting rising freshmen for next school year. Applications are available on the JP Knapp Early College website or with each middle school counselor, and applications will be accepted until March 2nd.
Okay, thank you, Chelsea. Jonathan?
At the high school, the Beta Club recently attended the state convention in Greensboro. Kayla Messier won first place for a color pencil drawing event. The tennis and golf tryouts will be taking place next week. Any students interested need to make sure they have a current physical on file. At the Milliock Middle School, the cheerleaders placed third in the regional conference at River Road Middle School. Baseball, softball, and track tryouts are next week. And any interested in attending, there will be a JP Knapp parent meeting tomorrow at 6:30. The high school registration activities include Parent Night at MMS on Tuesday, March 6th at 6:30 p.m. and counselors meeting with 8th graders on Wednesday, March 7th.
Okay, thank you. Next, Race to the Top, Common Core update. Ms. Kinzel.
Good evening, Dr. Dobney, members of the board, Ms. Scholler. North Carolina is in the midst of a complete and total curriculum overhaul. Standards and objectives for all curriculum areas have been adopted and are slated for implementation, full implementation, during the 2012-2013 school year. Last month, the board was presented with an overview of the implementation process and the expectations of our leadership as well as our teachers from a Race to the Top perspective. In our Race to the Top plan, a good deal of our focus is on professional development and the development of our teachers' understanding of the standards that have been adopted by the state to include Common Core and essential standards. Tonight, I'd like to provide the board and the public with an update of the steps taken in our district to ensure that our teachers are prepared to implement these standards in the next school year. Standards are the tools that teachers use to determine what we must teach within a subject or a course. Unfortunately, our old standards haven't always enabled our graduates to fly in the real world, and many believe this is because the standards haven't been aligned to what the students need in order to meet the demands of the 21st century. Common Core and essential standards were developed to provide a roadmap to career and college readiness. As you heard from our central students tonight, beginning with Stephen Covey's beginning with the end in mind, that is how these standards were designed. They were back mapped to ensure that students are prepared for the next grade level or course, leading to the end result of career and college readiness. As such, they're much more rigorous. As you can imagine, if you back map starting from what kids need to know when they graduate and back through the grade levels and the courses, it kind of falls on kindergarten, and the standards are way more rigorous in kindergarten than they have been in many years. So we'll see that across the board. It's not enough to simply have the higher standards and to expect students to be able to soar to these new heights in implementing new standards. We also must make changes to our instructional practices in order to help the students attain the higher standards. Our local plan has been developed to focus both on the changes to what we must teach as well as how we are going to approach teaching it. Our local plan for curriculum development and implementation was based on the following general premises. Beginning in the summer of 2010, teacher teams were created to begin the process of developing the curriculum frameworks, pacing guides, and common assessments aligned with the North Carolina Standard Course of Study objectives that were in place at the time. Beginning in the fall of 2010, curriculum guides and assessments were implemented, and data from these assessments were to be analyzed to inform instruction in the classroom and provide enrichment or support for students in need of more time. The common planning time and early release days that were in our schedule allowed teachers to meet as professional learning communities and use the guides and the data to plan collaboratively and to share effective instructional practices with each other. Teachers were asked to provide feedback and make suggestions for revisions to the original frameworks and assessments. The teacher teams met again in the summer of 2011, and they began to revise and improve the guides and assessments that were based on the feedback from these teachers and from teachers across the district. The process was established to continuously examine what we were setting up as a pacing guide and the curriculum work, and based on practice in the classroom, be able to go back and improve it each and every school year. In late August of 2010, the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction was awarded $400 million over 4 years in their Vie for the Race to the Top grant. Included in this grant proposal was a plan for implementing newly adopted Common Core standards as well as the already adopted Essential standards by 2013-14 school year. And I'm going to have to say that again. I wrote that wrong in my notes. Next year, it's by 2012-2013. I apologize. Districts submitted a plan for using funds to meet the objectives for Race to the Top, and that included plans for implementing the new standards. As an aside, and on my slide, Currituck County's Race to the Top plan in its entirety is posted on our website and can be found by going to the Race to the Top link on our website. DPI revised our plan for us, essentially. They provided initial training on the Common Core and Essential standards in the spring of 2011. In the summer of 2011, while we were planning to go back and revise our draft frameworks and pacing guides, we then took the information we were provided with for the early implementation of the Common Core standards, and we started weaving it into that process right from the beginning. We had revisions that reflected not only the feedback of the teachers, but also what those new standards were going to mean for what we needed to implement by 2012-2013 school year. We also had a team of 22 teachers and administrators that attended a summer institute that was sponsored by the Department of Public Instruction and which held over in Elizabeth City. And again, the focus was more in-depth unpacking of standards and understanding of the Common Core and Essential standards for each curricular area. During the 2011 convocation, we spent the entire day as a focus in content area groups as well as large groups talking about our Race to the Top plan as well as the standards and what they're going to look like. What does it mean? How are they organized? And really got our foot in the door as far as helping teachers to understand what the standards are and how they were laid out in the frameworks that we had created over the summertime. So where we are now, we're in a very good position. Over the course of this school year, DPI has provided online modules for teachers to access from home or from school. They've provided training that would help to supplement our understanding of the Common Core and Essential standards. And this has been done through regional meetings where we've been able to take a focus group of language arts teachers and have them sit in on those regional meetings and then bring back to help us to understand more about what the direction we're going. In addition to teachers attending training that are focused on specific curricular areas, our leadership has also attended training. Again, it's about building capacity and leadership as well as teachers. So our administrators from the school level as well as the district office have attended several training sessions to have a deeper understanding of the evaluation standards as well as how does it look in practice in the classrooms. So we've had both groups attending some regional training. Coming up February 13th, we have a mandatory work day that was in our calendar, and we've got a waiver to be able to keep it as a work day for this school year, and with the provision that we focus on Common Core and Essential standards. So coming February 13th, we will concentrate on a literary focus because across the board, literacy is going to be impacted in every single classroom and every single course because of the standards that have been laid out through the Common Core for English language arts. We're also going to focus on a revised Bloom's taxonomy, which is a module that was created through one of those online courses. And then teachers, something that they've asked for forever, and this is one opportunity we've been able to provide for them, is to come together as a grade level group at the county level so third grade teachers can actually work with the third grade teacher from Knott's Island with the third grade teacher from Jarvisburg, and we can cover everybody coming together with one group and work on what's working and sharing ideas and being able to build their understanding. So we're real excited about being able to provide them with that kind of an opportunity. After the 13th, which is a big day for us, we have still other plans for our implementation. We'll have continued participation in the DPI-sponsored webinars. They've had webinars coming out on content areas about every other week, I think, and I've attended most of them. But fortunately, it means I don't have to travel to Raleigh to hear the information. The regional trainings will continue through the end of the school year, and then, of course, the Moodle courses that are available for our teachers to be able to review at their leisure. We will continue discussions to enhance our understandings, and we'll do that during our monthly curriculum and instruction meetings with our leadership. And teachers will continue those discussions during their PLC or professional learning groups at their schools, and that happens almost weekly for most of them, at least monthly, when they have common planning time provided to them. We have an additional work day coming up in March, which is a mandatory work day set aside for additional work at the district level. And of course, we still have several early release days that provide teachers the opportunity to work in their PLCs at their schools. Over the summer, we will continue with meeting with our revision team, and we'll take feedback and put things in place and be able to continue to roll those out. Summer Institute is also being planned, and we'll send a team to that, which again is a 2-day event that's sponsored by DPI that will hopefully focus on where we need to go with instructional practices related to the Common Core. Through all the work that we've done, we have sent a number of teachers to regional trainings, and every one of them have come back saying that we are so far ahead of everyone else in our region. I am contacted just about weekly from people across the state. I received an email just Monday from Clinton, and they said, "We've been on your website. We've seen the work you've done. Please, can you help us? Help us to know what you've done, and help us to know, can we use some of the stuff that you put out there?" They're coming back feeling energized and happy with the work. I mean, it's always satisfying to know that after you've really put in a lot of hard work that it's appreciated. And others across the region, across the state, are recognizing the work that our district has done through the hard work and involvement of the teachers and their contributions. I couldn't have done it without them. Our school leadership has been very supportive of the work we've done in releasing teachers to be able to contribute. And just our district approach to being able to create a process that is going to have a continuous cycle, so we have constant feedback where we can go back and constantly hone in and improve what's being taught in our classrooms, and I think that is to be commended. So with all of that being said, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share this with you and with the public, and if you have any questions or comments, I'll be glad to try to answer them at this time.
Any board members, any questions, comments?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Please send a note to all the teachers thanking them for their hard work and efforts towards implementing the Common Core and essential standards.
I will certainly do that, Dr. Dami.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Next, consent agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, information items. Our next work session will be March 12th at 4 o'clock at the Knapp Professional Learning Center, and our next board meeting will be March 12th, 7 o'clock, right here. Next item on the agenda, board member comments. This month we'll start with Ms. Ennis.
Hold on. I thought you were, never mind. I guess you weren't. Okay. I thought we were having a closed session. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, that's going to be after the comments.
Oh, after the comments. I beg your pardon. Okay. Sorry. Now I've completely lost my train of thought. But as we go into the new semester, I guess I just want to wish all the students good luck and keep studying hard. I know seniors, you're probably getting senioritis. I know my son is. But you have one more semester. You can do it. And good luck to all the sports teams as we wrap up the end of the winter seasons and start the tryouts for the spring.
Thank you. Mr. Barnes?
Yeah, I guess the midterm is over. I'm sure everybody made A's and B's, but anyway, it's a lot of pressure off of you. We're over the hump now. June will be here before you know it.
Really? Ms. Etheridge?
I wanted to let everyone know I had the chance to go to the basketball game this week, and if you haven't been out there, you need to attend some of our sporting events. Great crowd, great enthusiasm, and I got to talk to a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while, and I just urge everyone to support our kids.
Mr. Simmons?
Last Saturday, I had a chance to go over to River Road Middle School and see Moyock Middle and Currituck Middle's cheerleaders in competition on a Saturday with 200 or 300 screaming 7th and 8th grade girls. But it was really nice to watch. I think Moyock got 3rd place, but both of our teams did very well. These kids our girls worked really hard, and I was really proud to see how well our Currituck cheerleaders did.
Thank you. Today I dropped into Moyock Elementary School and saw many, many students very excited about learning and saw many teachers providing excellent instruction, which is, a compliment to our school district and especially to Moyock Elementary School. And with that, I would like to request that the board go into a closed session under General Statute 143-318.11 for reasons 1, 5, and 6. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a motion and a second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
One more comment. Our cheerleaders are going to Raleigh tomorrow, right? Good luck.
Thanks.
Yeah. You got to leave.
Center.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Great. I'd just like to ask the board, because I'm not really sure, is it appropriate to adjourn a regular meeting at this time since we'll have no further business?
I believe so, because you're not going to be voting on anything when you come back, correct?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah, I think, yeah. If you got to vote on something, we'd have to adjourn.
You'd have to adjourn afterwards.
Right.
But we're not voting, so.
Okay.
I think you're legal.
Then do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the regular meeting is adjourned.